Hello, party people! Happy New Year. If indeed it is a new year. Where you are. I'm Gavi, and this is Dark Souls 2. And we made it via giant bird, for some reason, to the Lost Bastille. Now, we're not going to spend much time in the Lost Bastille, because that guy over there is big and mean, and I don't like him. He scares me. I'm not going to look at him. We're going to take these two chests, and then we're going to head back to Majula, and then go somewhere else. Now, the Lost Bastille, just a quick idea of what it is if you know what Bastille is, it's a prison. Like a fortress prison. And that's basically what this place is. We'll be back fairly quickly. Not tonight, probably, but eventually. Okay, so we got a human effigy and a dull ember. Where's that dull ember? An ember radiating a dull light. It's well named. This flame seems nearly exhausted, but exhibits an eerie resilience. Perhaps this is its ordinary state? We will be giving that to a blacksmith. But first we're going to level it.
Seek less.
We're going to seek less. What do we want? We might want some attunement. Yeah, that'll bring us up to 2. If we go to there. It'll give us a little bit more agility if we go up to there. So we'll do that. We'll save the rest for upgrading our weapon. And then see what we have left over. Leningras is a blacksmith.
I'd given you up for dead. Almost had me worried, really.
I'm good. But we can't give it to him.
You have an ember. Where did you get it? I hear that embers were once used in a special process to fortify weapons. But the whole art was lost long ago. Blacksmiths can't use embers anymore. Including myself, I'm afraid. Just keep it as a souvenir.
Well, blacksmiths can't use embers. How you blacksmith? That's why it's a blacksmith, because it makes all soot and everything. Okay. Well, we'll have to use the dull embers somewhere else. We're gonna buy that many, and we're gonna go to our longsword. Pump it up. We can go on one more, because we had a large titanite. As you can see down there, in the bottom right in the red there, we've moved on to large titanite. So when you get to +3, you need large titanite shards. So just normal titanite shards, and it follows that kind of path for most weapons, for like these mundane weapons.
I'll be around.
That took all our souls. I don't think we have, well, we have a couple, but not enough that'll really do anything. Let's open up this door that we got a key to last time. Now, Kale, the man who gave us that, who loves his maps dearly, said that something was making some spooky noises. That's a Ferrous Lockstone. That's very useful. There's a bunch of books here, and one big book. Do not know the significance of such whatsoever. But it's a lot of books of quite large sizes. Now, if you listen closely, you can hear that spooky sound Kale was so afraid of. And here's the map he spoke of. I'm just gonna tell you what happens here. You see this little, fire here. That means we kill the boss in that area. This is a map of Drain Lake of the world. Every time we kill a boss, we'll get a little fire on it. If you light all the fires, you get a helmet. You get Kale's helmet, actually. But Kale's not here right now because he's afraid. But we can make him not afraid by killing a spooky skeleton. Oh. Oh. See, our longsword's doing quite a bit of damage. It's a human effigy. Here's another skeleton, but this one's not going to attack us. Let's see, is it still here? There it is. I'm not going to go too into this, but if you know Dark Souls 1, these appear to be the remains of a shattered Lord vessel. Now, I said I wanted to keep this mostly Dark Souls 2 related. But if you are interested in the connections to Dark Souls 1, keep this in mind, and I guess when I get close to finishing the game and explaining some of the more connections to Dark Souls 1, I'll go over it. But for now, I just want to focus on 2. What's in here? It's a soul vessel. A vessel that will accept your souls. That's nice. It can allocate or allow reallocation of levels, but without proper assistance, it may simply drain your soul if you truly wish to. Blah blah blah. Okay, nothing of lore significance really. That is what you give to the firekeepers that we met in Things Betwixt, and it lets you reallocate your attributes. Lets you respec your characters. Very nice. I enjoy that they added it. And I kind of like that it's tied to just a item that you can find, rather than, I don't know, it limits the number of times you can do it. In Dark Souls 3 you can do it, but you have to pay souls to do it. I don't know. I kind of like this one a little better, but both methods have their advantages. Now, if we go and rest, which again basically respawns
Is that a sharp
the area,
ear?
but first
I
let's
see
upgrade
mine.
our Estus
However,
flask. Boop. Thank you. And then we could go check if we have successfully dealt with the terror of the basement. Pretty sure he comes. I might have to kill a boss. There he is. Hey, buddy.
Oh, hello again. You've made it. The map, I presume. Of course. Take a good look. Even more flames have appeared. I don't know what causes it.
I do. I just told you. I just told you. How do you... You're the one that loves maps, and I'm the one...
Did you see the flame on the map? It wasn't there when I came here before. I don't know what explains it. But there is something greatly comforting about that flame. It seems to fulfill something very precious, deep within the soul. Something essential. I would not venture far into that hole. It was blocked by a wall, something built long ago. But it was crumbling, and I finished the job. Now, A foul sound echoes within.
It is interesting that last line. I'm not quite sure what he's referring to. He said he built a wall. There was no wall in the way of the spooky, scary skeletons, so... odd. Now, the flames also carry over into New Game Plus, I believe. And they change color if you kill them in New Game Plus. If you kill the bosses in New Game Plus. Again, I think this is just a little fun thing they added. I don't think it really has all that much lore significance, other than the idea of Drain Lake being kind of this nexus, this metaphysical place, rather than a actual physical landmass. And Majula is kind of the bedrock, or the center of it. And that's why there's this big map in the middle of a mansion in there.
Did you see the flame?
Yes, I did. I just explained it. You don't listen very well, Kale. I know you have bad memory, but come on, bro. Okay. Let's see, how many life gems do I have? Let's get a couple more. Probably just get one. I think they're 400. Nope. There you go. Oh, no, they're 300. Thanks. Okay. Now, we are going to travel this way. This is the other area you can start with. There's actually 2 areas, the Forest of the Giant and Hyde's Tower of Flame, that we're about to see, that you can have as your beginning area. Forest of the Fallen Giants, I think, is a much better area to start with than the Tower of Flame. The Tower of Flame's a little bit more difficult, gives you less time to look around, and also has a optional area that's much more difficult than the rest of it. Which we might try to do right now. I'm not sure. Actually, I'm going to... I forgot to set my spells up. Let me do that real quick. One complaint a lot of people had about this game is how the world is less... do I want Great Soul Arrow or just more Soul Arrows? I'll just go with more Soul Arrows. How the world isn't as connected as it was in Dark Souls 1. And that's certainly true. Like, in Dark Souls 1, it was made... There's so many shortcuts that go between areas, that let you travel around areas. You really get a feel for how the world, you know, works. You know, you find your way around it. You still do that in this, but not nearly to that extent, which I will concede. But, for one, everybody loves Demon Souls, and, in that game, the worlds weren't connected whatsoever. But, you know, that's not really the point. Like I said, I do agree Dark Souls 1's world design was quite good. But this one still has some of that. I think it just, with being able to warp around everywhere, maybe that's why people got the impression that it's not nearly as connected. This contraption doesn't move. Well, I don't know what to do about that right now, so we'll continue on. And there's a chest. But you didn't expect that. Crimson Pharma. That is a shield. A pretty good one to start out with. The fancy name and nifty paint are surely a merchant's effort to make this ordinary shield more attractive. Well, it works. It's a beautiful shield. Looks a lot better in the hand than this dinky little thing. But never like how they held the buckler. You're not supposed to hold a buckler like that. You try to block something with that, they're just gonna tilt it over. You gotta put that on your hand, my friend. Alright, now here, first time I played, I got stuck forever. Because this doesn't open. And there's nowhere else to go. Can't roll under here. Nothing to use. Till eventually a message sign spawned in up over here that told me what to do. You pull that. It's one of those physical loading screens, sort of. So we're in the murky, jerky, herky-burky sewers. I believe they added an enemy here? Maybe not? Broken Thief Sword. Now, the Broken Thief Sword is not a broken... like one of these broken straight swords. It's quite different. Let's see if I can find it first. It is a dagger. This inexpensive sword is terribly worn, but nevertheless a favorite amongst thieves. And it's alright. It doesn't have all that much going for it, but I'd say it's an upgrade to the dagger, at least. So if you're going a thiefy character, you could use the Thief's Broken Sword. Alright, so I said we were going to a tower of flame. There's a tower, there's a flame. I ain't lying to you. Oh, hey, buddy. Now, this is Hyde's Tower of Flame, and as you can tell, it's quite a departure from Majula and Forest of Fallen Giants. This is much more in line with areas like Anne Orlando and such like that. It's a city fallen into ruin, or the ruins of a city. Now, these guys, as you can tell, he's not attacking me, but you can also probably tell that he's breathing. So he's there. He's not a corpse. He is hollow, though. But he is an enemy. But he's not going to attack me unless I attack him. At least for now. These are Hyde Knights. Before, there was only 2 in the game, and neither one was in Hyde's Tower of Flame, which was interesting. But now, they've moved them all here, and there's a ton of them around. In the original game, just like this, he didn't attack you until you attacked him. He just sat at that tree in Forest of Fallen Giants with all the corpses that were littered around that would jump up and attack you with the guy throwing a firebomb. That used to just be him. And then there were a couple more hollows around there. You still had the guy throwing the firebomb, though. But he was actually quite a challenge on the first playthrough. So I kind of liked him here, but they make much more sense being here. I'm gonna kill them because I'm a terrible person, and I want to show you their moveset. See, they kind of flail around. All right, do it for me, buddy. Yeah, they have very erratic kind of patterns. This is not the best place to attack. I might show you a little bit more on another one. All right, he's backing up. I'll run past him. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on. Come on. It makes him a little difficult to dodge because his strings are very... they change a lot. And they have a lot of different numbers of attacks that come out at random. I'm gonna kill him now. This is a dangerous area, and I'm getting nervous. I don't like to be nervous. That guy will attack me. Not because I attacked that guy, just because he's a jerk. Ooh. Hold on, buddy. I want to talk to you about you a little bit. He heard me. He heard me talking about him. He's like, nuh-uh, motherfucker. He is an old soldier. They're just called old soldiers. They, I guess, look old, but you can also tell that they look really big. This could also call into some similarities to Dark Souls 1, wherein there were giants, but they were much different giants than the giants in the Giants of the Fallen Giants. Giant. It's possible they are another form of giant, or as we've seen, not so far in this game really, but in others, the power of your soul can directly affect your physical form. So they could have just had powerful souls. I don't know. If we get their armor, it might educate us a little bit, but I don't think so. So I kind of go with the idea that they were altered to be that big somehow. It's also possible they're just like animated golems, but I don't think that is the case. Because there are creatures like that further in the game, and they don't act like these boys here. They can be kind of tricky. Because they have very good tracking on... Well, not very good, but they do have tracking on their attacks. You see there, you kind of turn on me. But as long as you can do enough damage, they're not too bad. A lot of people miss this bonfire down here. But it saves you a lot of time if you die, because you don't have to go through all that sewer junk. I'm gonna kill him again, and I'm just mostly doing this just for the chance at their armor drop. Oh, we're getting a little lag here. Hold on, buddy. Hold on, bud. You see, that's the... They kind of attack you at all angles. He just kind of froze there and let me do it. Thank you, bud. Did you drop something for me? Nope. Now, this old soldier's got a big hammer, which means he hits harder. I actually find these a little bit easier than the shield guys, because you don't have to get behind them and hit them without the shield. But their hitboxes are quite large. And they also have tracking and delay their attacks like that frustrate you a lot. And don't hit me, bruh. Alright. Oh, that was quick. Yeah, they did this multiple slam down thing. Ooh, I got his hammer. We definitely cannot use his hammer, but I'll read it. Ooh, sorry about that. An undated great hammer. It's undated. It's lonely. Anybody looking for a hammer to date? No? Okay. Wielded by a warrior from a time so ancient that there exists no record of his endeavors. Has extremely low durability. Sometimes, just as a thing falls to pieces, it unleashes its last flash of great power. Lash flash. As you see, it's still pretty big when we use it, but it's really slow. We don't have the stats for it, so I'm not going to use it, but here it is. And that also brings up another idea that these aren't originally from here. If you take the whole Dark Souls time is relative, dimensions verging, kind of stuff, they could be from somewhere completely else, somewhere else. Again, Hyde's Knights weren't here originally, so who knows? It plays into one of the bosses here, which I'll talk about if we get to that boss, which we might not, because I might be too bad at video games to do it. Alright, see that little depression back there? Behind this dude? When I kill him, hopefully, he allows me to do such things. It's gonna play a little tune for us. Now you see over there, like directly in front of me, that platform down there, that is the boss room. A boss room for this area, at least. And you can tell, it's got some holes in it, but if I pull this lever... Ta-da! I fixed it! Yay! So that's kind of the gimmick for this fight. There's one other lever to completely close up the area so you can't fall off. Although, I'm not going to show it, but you can quite easily make the boss fall off himself and instantly kill him. But, so, there he is, actually. One of the few bosses you can see before you go through their fog gate. Now this area can be a butt. Thankfully they changed it a little bit. See this big guy with a sword. He fights a lot, very similarly to the mace guy. I think they have a very slight difference in their moveset. But give me 1 minute to check something. Okay, we're good. I hope. But I'm gonna aggro him. Now, you see, they aggro too, but they're gonna wait. They're gonna wait. They're gonna let us fight this out like men. By men, I mean I'm going to run behind him and stab him in the butt. Oh, that big sweep. Okay, now they're gonna come. They saw what I did to their boy, and they're like, nah, we gotta do this together. They're gonna chase you down here. The easiest way to take care of these guys, I think, is to get them over here. Like, I do a lot of damage, so I can probably take them out in there. But, see, they end up going single file down this way. So I like to bring them over here, and then get them attacking at the same time. Hopefully they do the same number of attacks. Yeah, and you just use one to block the other. Take him out, and then you can take out the last one. Or get hit by him. I guess that works too. Cracked blue eye orb. Well, we know what a red eye orb is for. Invade the world of the guilty. Can be used by members of the Blue Sentinels Covenant. Punish the guilty to strengthen the bond with your covenant. This is much like the red eye orb, but whereas the red eye orb will invade pretty much anybody, the blue eye orb will invade people that have been using red eye orbs to invade people. Now, the red eye orbs also have their own covenant, but we will be getting to that later. Now, you can see we have 2 areas to go to. This is your first time playing, you want to go to the right, and you want to not look at the left whatsoever until later in the game. We will be going right. We may attempt left, but if it doesn't work out, I'm just going to go on to the next area. Got another hide night up here. I'm going to two-hand my sword and stab him. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. You can parry these guys, but because of their movements, it's a little difficult there. I got it. I'm good. Surprised they didn't kill. Drop something for me, boy. Now that guy is probably the one most people are going to kill, because he's standing in front of chest like a jerk. And there's one more of these guys in front of the boss. Oh, I forgot to hit the other level. Silly me. Oh. Oh! Don't kill me, sir. Please. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna lure him over here, because you can die going off that, and I don't want to die. need some more endurance. Oh. It kind of reminds me of how Geralt fights in Soul Calibur. I've been playing that a little bit. There is a summon sign over here. Or Masterless Glencore. Now, he is friendly. He will help you with this boss fight and the other boss fight I've been alluding to, but he is not important. He does not appear anywhere else in the game other than as a summon to help you, and so we're probably not going to use him. Now, I am out of healing, but I think I'll be able to take this boss on without it. Ring of Binding. Probably not going to use this ring. An unusual ring of unknown origin limits the wearer's HP reduction when hollow. Alas, this ring will not make you human. What is lost is not easily retrieved. So that'll reduce the health you lose when you die. But we never die, so we're good. Now, killing these 3 guys in here, it might just be the sword guy. I don't know. Regardless, you probably have to kill them all to pull the lever. So you get this lever that comes up. And yeah, I fixed it good now. There you go, Dragon Whittle. It's all battle. I am going to switch up my shield. Just because of how I like to fight this boss. This boss is pretty easy. I'd say he's easier than the last giant. And I think that's largely because the Tower of Flame can be kind of difficult. Especially that room in there for newer players. So they made this boss a little easier. Now, he's got a big halberd, so you want to stay close to him. And you see, he's really easily blocked. So you just circle around him, and he pretty much can't hit you unless you want him to, if you know what to do. So you just circle him around to the left. He'll hold up his shield, which will block attacks only when it's up. I'm pretty sure you can, yeah, you can attack through the shield as long as he's not actively guarding it. Let me test that, actually. Yeah. Oh, that's gonna hit, though. Nice jump. Stagger him. Pow. He's really easy. He's got low health, easy to avoid attacks. He might catch you a little bit if you don't know what to do, but... Soul of a dragon rider who faithfully served King Vendrick. Long ago, the dragon riders mounted worms, and were feared on the battlefield for their unparalleled strength. Use a dragon rider soul to acquire numerous souls or to create something of great worth. Now, spoiler alert, we never see a dragon rider ride a dragon. We don't even see them near dragons. So... They're an interesting bunch, especially since they're so big and fat, and they don't seem like they would ride dragons, but apparently they did. Let's meet a new friend. First, let's like this one. Hi.
Are you from these parts?
Nope.
My name is Lycia. I have come to spread the art of miracles, a practice of which I am a disciple. I can see that you are well suited to comprehend their wondrous power. But the cost of it, that's for your heart to decide. I'd heard awful rumors about this place, and I'm afraid they were all true. The king, gone. The earth, ravaged. The burden on the people weighs heavy. I fear that, by now, they may have scarce room in their hearts for miracles.
This is Lycia. I like Lycia, just as a character in general, and how she kind of relates to During Lake. she's the primary way to get miracles, which is the cleric paladin need kind of stuff. But she's a little twist. She's not just, you know, she's here praying, but she's not quite the, you know, pretty little priestess that you might expect.
Well, do I need any other reason than to spread the gospel of miracles? My preceptor always said this art should be shared with the world. And such is my only wish. Sometimes I fight the urge to pack up and go back home. It is... well, I must do this. And being out here all alone only makes this a more fitting test of my fortitude. I expected this cathedral to be bustling, but there's hardly a soul to be found here.
Soul.
Without any goings-on, I'll have to move soon. To a place I could help the gullible by teaching the good word.
And there she kind of spoils her own kind of character arc there. She is perhaps not as religious of a person that she puts it off to be. She wants to more sell miracles than perform miracles, if you know what I mean. One interesting thing to say here is in Dark Souls 2 you use chimes to cast miracles, where before it was just talismans. And you'll see that actually in lore and bosses that use miracles and stuff, they will use bells and the like to do so. I think that's cool. We don't really need any of these. Miracles are tales of the gods, passed down long ago, but only a small number of the original tomes remain in their entirety, and most of that exists are restorations. Now, compare this to Dark Souls 1, where many of the miracles explicitly told you which god they originated from. So, playing again into the idea that Drang Lake is not a religious area, and Dark Souls 2 is not about the kind of overarching gods, demigods that Dark Souls 1 was. This is very much about humanity, about humans and the undead and the curse. See if there's anything else. There is a story passed down through generations claiming this band of knights once felled a poisonous dragon which menaced an entire nation. We will maybe meet that dragon, perhaps later. Alright, I'll come back to these when they are more relevant.
I expected this cathedral
Alright, she's done.
to a place. Sorry.
So as she says, she needs to move to a place to goal ... I mean, give miracles to the gullible, whatever she said. Whatever she let slip. She will go to Majula. Perhaps to goal us. Yeah, and she gets mad at us if we don't buy anything. Also kind of alluding to her true motives. Let's go to Majula first, and then I will try to get to the other boss in this area.
There,
Seek, last level up. Now, we want to get this up to 10, probably. That seems like a good idea. This is 15 because it makes me feel better. We will be... maybe we should go a little higher. So it will make our fire longsword do more, as it does scale off of intelligence. Intelligence raises magic bonus damage the most. Fire will level up on both intellect and faith. Lightning goes off faith. And dark goes off both intellect and faith, but in a different way from fire, whereas fire will kind of go up equal. Like if you have 30 int, it's pretty much the same as having 30 faith, but you need both 30 int and 30 faith to kind of get the similar dark bonus. But dark can be very strong, even though it's a little bit more difficult to build into. So I'm gonna put that at 15. Maybe, nah. I think we'll leave it there unless we start having problems. Put that to 15 because it also makes me feel better. And what does that leave us with? Alright, I'm gonna spend the rest of that on life gems. Just so I always will have some life gems. Yay. Which one do I want to go there for? I'm thinking here. Now, I think killing the Dragon Rider does make the Hide Knights, the guy sitting down, mad at us. Yeah, they're mad at us now. Oh. Oh. There you go. Drop your armor. Oh. So now they'll get up and attack us. But they still... Oh, and they have a huge aggro range. I forgot about that. That guy came all the way up there. This might be a tough situation. So they don't stagger easily, as you can see. Well, they kind of stagger all around, but in game terms, they don't stagger very easily. There we go. Won't hit me, sir. Thank you. I'll stop. Drop a 9. No. Did I get this? No, I didn't get this. Lloyd's Talisman. I'll read that after I kill this bastard. This is mostly a PvP item. It does have some uses offline, not much. Where are you? Talisman used by Cleric Knights. Blocks Estus recovery within a limited area. It is said that the Cleric Knights use these talisman to hunt down accursed undead. Cleric Knights fight with pride, and by blocking the recovery of the undead, they can also fight with impunity. Now, I read that because it's kind of the first mention of hunting the undead, which, seems to have happened a lot in Drang Lake's history, but we'll get to that later on. This, you just throw it like a firebomb, and if it hits somebody, they can't drink Estus. There aren't nearly as many NPCs that drink Estus in this game as there was in the first. Yeah, see, he came from a long way. I'll try and dry him out. A strong attack staggers him. Sit down. Sit back down, young man. Alright, big boy. Spank me. Spank me again. Yeah, I might need some more endurance. There you go. Yeah, but go over here. Get over here now. Whoa. Ooh, what's this? Aw. Yeah, they mostly drop those, but they do have an armor set that looks like them. Okay. No, I want your little brother. You go away. Oh. Might need to save those. Oh. Oh, he broke out. Take a sippy. Oh, good hit. Alright. Oh, yeah. Old Knight leggings. Oh, I already read one of these. They look like that. They're better than what we had, but they're also quite heavy. They don't look as cool. I'm mostly just gonna go with what looks cool. I don't care too much about defenses and stats and stuff, especially since we're a magey boy. Come over here, you. This guy is a bit more tough than the other ones, because he has a spear, and that apparently makes you better. See, that's a real quick jab there. It has a pretty big hitbox, and he has more health. And then he goes buck wild. There you go. Now up here, this is why it's a little difficult to get to this area. Now this thing will kill me rather quickly. And I believe his flames reach over here. Yep, they do. This is not like other dragons in early areas that, oh, stop. Fire is still pretty... Fire is pretty much just a big old hitbox in the Dark Souls games. Like, you shouldn't really go out, like, if any part of that particle effect is hitting you, the fire's hitting you. Anyway, this isn't like a lot of the, other dragons in early Dark Souls games where he just blows fire forever right there and it's just there to block you or to be an obstacle for you to getting someplace. He is an obstacle, but you are meant to go up there and kill him. You can also peg him down with a bow, but that'll take forever. I'm going to try to kill him, and if I die, we're going to go elsewhere. And I'll come back and kill him when it's easier because I suck at video games. Getting to him is difficult in the first place because of that. Fight me! Go! No, we're doing good enough damage. Right now he's just going to do that a lot, hopefully. He can fly up and throw fire on me, which I'll have to get out of the way rather quickly to make him stop. There you go. Cool. I won't do it again. We seen it, it was cool. You're cool. Alright, you do more damage to them, I believe, if you hit their head, but I'm not going to do that because it's rather dangerous. Whoa! Almost didn't make that one. There we go. Now I'll try not to die to the boss. Petrified dragon bone and a watch parma. That gives us another leather, which will bring down this big bridge. The watch dragon pharma is a shield. A shield decorated by intertwined dragons. The black and white contrast depicts the ebb and flow of the fate of all living things and the serpentine dragons that watch over the march of time. The bearer of this shield will be blessed by great fortune in battle. I don't think that's actually a blessing of any kind. I don't think it actually gives you a buff. Oh, it does. I'm not quite sure what that buff does. It might just give you a little bit of extra stats. I'm pretty sure that's what it does, actually. I don't believe that dragon respawns, so if we have to come back here, it won't be nearly as much of an issue. Especially since the bridge is down now. What else do we get? The dragon bone. That is a upgrade material, actually. Commonly called dragon bone, but the veracity of the name is questionable. In any case, this petrified bone houses great power. It's not that questionable because we got it off of a big old dragon. Old Radiant Life Gems are like Radiant Life Gems, but better, because they're old. Now, this boss is quite a bit tougher than the Dragon Rider. He's also quite a controversial one. Again, I keep breaking my rule that I said that this was mostly going to be about Dark Souls 2 and not 1, but it's really hard to talk about this boss without talking about Dark Souls 1, so... Essentially, this boss is in Dark Souls 1. He's not called the same name here, but he is, in fact, the same person. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about the specifics of that after I kill him. Which I might not do. Especially since my sword is kind of broken. Let me see. Yeah, I got a repair powder. Alright. Wish me luck. This is Spornstein, or a shadow of Ornstein, or a image of Ornstein, or Ornstein's brother Spornstein. Who knows? But he's got a big spear, and he is quick with that spear, and he jumps around a lot. Ooh. Come on. Come on. It's mostly just waiting for the rushing attacks, dodging to the side, and hitting them. Not much to it. He's just got some in that. You want to run away from that. It's a big AoE butt slam. Noticeably not electric, but you only get that if you know about his Dark Souls 1 incarnation. Let me drink, please. Whoop. Oh, I got it. I'm trying to use a life gem. Oh. That was a big whiff. Okay. I think we got this if we don't get greedy. Come on. Come on. And there we go. Now it was kind of easy there because I, know his attacks and everything, but if you were able to get past the dragon, he could still be pretty tough for a new player. That's a friend over there, but we'll talk to him later. Soul of the Old Dragon Slayer. The Old Dragon Slayer is reminiscent of a certain knight that appears in old legends. He indeed is. And the Old Leo Ring. The beloved ring of a dragon-slaying knight. Strengthens thrust weapon counterattacks. After many years of use, the ring's face has worn down, but close inspection reveals an engraved lion. Now, Ornstein was a boss in Dark Souls 1. Now, spoilers for Dark Souls 1, but events that take place in the area that you fight him in reveal that he may not have actually been there and have been an illusion. If he was, one of the items you can get to drop here mentions that a unnamed goddess could have fled here, and people have made assumptions that that could have been Guinevere, who was also an illusion, and who you met after killing Ornstein, and was a goddess with big old titties. That could have been her, and she could have brought Ornstein with her, because Ornstein was one of her father's, major generals. Why he was all dark and stuff, I don't know. He is usually associated with dealing lightning attacks and magic and stuff like that, but he's using dark this time. But you could also bring in Artorias, which is another boss and another character from Dark Souls 1 who fell to darkness and was another one of those generals. So he did stuff with Ornstein, and he was corrupted by darkness. So Ornstein could have been corrupted by darkness. Or this could just be a reference, and they could have just put this here because they wanted to put Ornstein in the game, and they needed another boss. Personally, I like the idea that that was Ornstein. Perhaps hollowed, perhaps fallen to the abyss, something. I think the idea that Ornstein and Smo in Dark Souls 1 that they were an illusion fits, because everything else in there was an illusion. Well, everything else that wasn't, hollowed golems, giant knights, hollow giant knights, and little bat demon things. I don't know, I'm getting too far into Dark Souls 1 right now. But just know that that might have been another character from another game. But for this particular game, not all that important. This guy is, though, a little bit.
Transient being. This is no place for one such as you. Be gone. You are not needed.
He will not talk to
Transient
us, actually.
being. No, you would never make a Knight of the Blue, and I have nothing more to say. Be gone. You are not needed. Transient being. Nothing has changed. You would never make
Correct. You need, in order for him to talk to you, you need to invade somebody with this and get an item from it. I believe you can also find one just on the ground somewhere. So once we get that, we'll come back here and talk to him. But he is the main dude for the the Blue Sentinel Covenant, which again is mostly a multiplayer thing. But he says some interesting stuff, so we'll come back to him. But we'll take his shit. 2 shields. Tower shield, which is just a big old shield. And a cleric's pharma. Yeah, it allows spells to be deflected by parrying. Not terribly useful. If you know you're going up against a mage in PvP, you can kind of trick them with it, but not all that useful for us, and gives you some cracked blue eye orbs to try and get the item you need for him to talk to you, because he's just so mean and he won't talk to you without it. Here's a bonfire. This is here for the battle arena of this game. You come here if you've gotten your blue sentinel thing, and you talk to these statues, and you get to go into an arena and fight people. And that's basically it. Let's go level up a little bit. The next area is quite a bit longer than, sorry, I had to take a drink. It is quite a bit longer than the Tower of Flame. So I'm kind of debating if I want to go ahead and do that. I think we might just end it here, because my throat's a little wonky. Let's see. Why not? Just get this all the way up to 24. Now we're going mage, we might as well just do it. You notice I haven't done much magey things while fighting, and that's just the way Dark Souls is. It's just more effective to not cast spells all that often until later on. And we'll put the rest in these two. And get some, yeah, that's good. Actually, with these souls, I'm going to upgrade our catalyst, so when we do start casting spells, it'll be a little better. Alright. There's a little bit more to do before we get to the next area, so I'll do that, and then sign off. For those. Reinforce our staffs, make it more magic-y. Probably don't have enough to, yeah.
I'll be around.
That's a little better. That's good enough for me. Good. 2 life gems, please. Have we given you enough gold yet? Or souls yet?
Take these, if you want.
Oh, thank you, Mum. Now, she says take these, and then gives you one thing. So I don't know if that's... if she was supposed to give you multiple things and they changed it, or she's just crazy. Probably both. Which one do we want to get rid of? Probably this one. The covetous silver serpent ring. First one! A silver ring depicting the snake, both the servant and manifestation of the god of greed, Zendro. Now, this is one of the few references to actual god names in this game. But unlike Dark Souls 1, you never see these gods, and no NPCs ever really talk about them. So I think they're just names that they just kind of threw out there. Greed is traditionally viewed as a vice, but only a fool allows that to ruin a good opportunity. It just gives you more souls when you get souls, so I'm going to use it so I get more souls. You have anything else to say to us, darling?
Everyone's so stingy around here. Everyone's so stingy everywhere. You're my only customer. Don't make me beg. Now buy something.
I did.
We call this place Majula. Not too special, if you ask me. It's just the place where everyone seems to end up.
Again, referring to perhaps this is not just a physical area, but maybe a place where souls are transitioning, or maybe it's actual people, but they somehow, for some reason, are drawn to it. I don't know. I don't know. Everybody's so stingy around here, though. Nobody's giving. Yeah, and they get. The one thing that annoys me is that when, even if you buy things, if you talk to her after you buy things, she thinks you didn't buy anything and gets mad at you. But like, I gave you a bunch of money there, all right, lady. I've done what you've asked. Let us go back to the Tower of Flame. As you can tell, Lycia has moved on. We will talk to her later. There's a little hidden item over here. A monastery charm. Where are you? There you are. Blessed charm cures poison and restores HP. Many such charms were blessed in reconstructed ancient ceremonies carried out in the monastery of Lindelt, now known as the new home of miracles. That's where Lycia is from. Though it may lack the power of an original, in circumstances dire enough, an imitation can be quite enough. Now, if you notice, when I read the miracle description that I said, it mentioned that most of these tales are now reconstructed, and probably by Lindell. So you can make the assumption that perhaps Lindell has kind of taken a lot of the miracle religious aspects of the world and kind of monetize them, to be honest with you. That's what it seems like to me. Oh, you hear that? That means there's a big boy. It's gonna die in 3 hits. That's pretty good. Now, if we were online, there would be a funny little message here telling you to poke his butt or something like that. Isn't that nice? Dark Troches. I don't think this is all that important, but might as well check. Troches with an inexplicably pungent odor. Temporarily boost dark defense. Verbal histories often mention Saint Elizabeth. Her uniquely concocted medicines and potions are still widely used today. That is a reference to a Dark Souls 1 character that I won't be going too far into right now. But it was a giant mushroom. So, an old knight halberd. Does this say anything different? No. Tra-la-la. Now, to the left here, he looks different. Is there anybody? No, there's nobody. He looks different, though. He's got a big old sun on his sword, it looks like. It looks kind of scary, though. Like a baby face. No. From a distance, it looks like a baby face. He used to have a lot more health, I feel. I think. But I'm probably just doing too much damage. He is a Cyan Knight, and we will be seeing more of him in another area far away from here. So it's interesting that he is there. Sublime Bone Dust. This is a very nice item that I cannot find. There it is. Charred Ashen Bones. Cast them into the far fire in Majula to increase the HP restored with each use of your flask. They say these are the remains of a saint who cast himself into the bonfire, but we will never know for sure, for soot and ashes tell no story. Now, who that saint is? 3 options I'm going to give you, alright? option 1, which is the one I'm probably going to go with for this playthrough because I'm, again, Dark Souls 2, not Dark Souls 1. Just somebody. We don't know who. Some saint that was really good cast himself into a bonfire. Or, perhaps, someone we will meet later on. 2, the character you played in Dark Souls 1. Because in Dark Souls 1, you can throw yourself into a bonfire and burn up. Number 3, Solaire of Astora can also throw himself into a fire and burn up. That cyan knight there did look like what had to be a sun effigy on his shield. Interesting, but not very substantive, is it? That's pretty much how Dark Souls goes, so get used to that. Here's a big old elevator. Now, you think there'd be something spooky in here trying to trick us, ambush us, but there's not. Oddly enough, there's not. See, they tease you up there. They like to do that. Well, there was one there, though. He was just lying on the floor. I missed him. I forgot about him. But they tease you up there. And that looks like a different big boy. He looks quite a bit bigger than the other big boys. And that looks spooky. We saw some of those where, in Things Betwixt, past the other statue. These are basilisks. If you play Dark Souls 1, you know what these are. They petrify people. So they're likely the whoa, what happened there? They're likely the culprits of all the petrified statues that are all up in our way. And we can't get rid of him yet, so we'll leave him there for a later stream/video. Another place you'd think they'd try to spook you, but nope. And here is where we will end our journey tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you a little preview. No men are allowed. So we can't go there. I guess I don't know what to do now. I guess we gotta stop. Well, thank you for watching, if indeed anyone is. Again, I'm mostly doing this for myself, and I'm having a lot of fun. So, I'm gonna keep doing it, and I want to do it for other games eventually. If I can turn my character right. Yeah. I'll see you next time. Love ya. Bye. Yeah. Yeah, bye. I love you so fucking much. Yeah.